morning, guys. It's February 6th, and it's actually the first really nice day that we haven't had a ton of fog. Pretty warm, and we're gonna do kind of some different stuff today. We're gonna head out, we're gonna try to catch some redfish on artificial, maybe throw some topwater plugs, maybe throw some push baits, and then we're gonna jump offshore here this morning and try to catch some gags throwing plugs on a little bit heavier tackle. Kind of talk about that a little bit. It's something that we haven't really had a lot of a chance to do in January and February just because it's been so cold. And you know, the grouper do come in when it's cold, but at the same time, they're not super active when the water's in the 50s, and they're not gonna come off the bottom and charge up there and grab that plug like you want them to. Should be a beautiful morning, and hopefully you guys will get to see some really cool stuff today. And again, like I said last time, if you've got ideas for future videos, stuff you wanna see in the Crystal River area, of course, you know, it is seasonally dependent, but we'd look forward to hearing some stuff from you and you know, what we can do to showcase some stuff that people want to learn about. Let's go get them. So this morning we're going to start out throwing some lures. As you can see, it is slick, calm, and that's going to make it kind of challenging. It's going to be hard to get close to these fish. They're going to be really spooky. The water's still right there in the low to mid 60s. You know, early in the morning, it's been about 64. By lunchtime, it's gonna be about 70. It will warm up real quick, but hopefully we'll get to show you guys some cool stuff and we can get a few bites out of these fish. I've been seeing a lot of fish. Yesterday on my charter, we pushed a lot of fish around. We didn't get a ton of bites. We got enough. You know, we ended up catching 4 nice redfish, but it wasn't, you know, like maybe when it's really cold and you catch 20, 30, 40 redfish out of a hole. These fish are not in the holes. They're pushing out up on the flats, and it's kind of a really fun time. You know, hopefully we can get to see some explosive bites. Casey's throwing a Unfair Lures Rip and Slash 70 twitch bait, and I'm gonna throw a skitter walk, and both are about the same color. Orange belly, gold side, black back. So hopefully we get to show you guys some cool bites. That was cool. It's not a big fish, but to watch the wake like push off the rock flat, come right at it, and smash that skitter walk. Like I said, not a giant one, but he wanted it. Something to think about when you catch a fish on a plug. If he's got the front hook in his mouth like that, that means that he's actually feeding. Means he was striking at the head of the bait. He had every desire to eat that bait. If they come up and they barely grab the back of it, you're probably getting a reaction strike out of them. But that's a pretty little fish and really cool to see the bite like that. So when you're throwing like a topwater or a plug, you're looking for kind of a specific rod. But I mean, something like this, you know, this is a Fitzgerald Aqua Dream 7.2 medium. Like, and if you can see that, you know, it's got a relatively soft tip. A lot of times these fish are coming up, they're gonna swipe at that bait and they may not get hooked real well and they may get snagged. I mean, it's just kind of a part of the game, right? But these fish can grab a hold of it and you can just kind of have a nice gentle rod, keep the line tight. You don't have to worry about like ripping the hooks out of them and stuff like that. But that's a Shimano Vanford 2000. We got 6-pound braid on it, a little medium action rod. I mean, I've got a paddle tail rigged up on this one, but you know, we throw this rod with you know, paddle tail, spoons, topwater plugs, stuff like that. And that's kind of what we're looking for. I mean, you know, if you have questions or like maybe you're not really sure, you know, there's a lot of good all-purpose rods out there. You know, there's some great stores like Sodium that are a really awesome place to go to. You know, kind of figure out what you're looking for, talk to the guys there, they'll get you pointed in the right direction. And you know, you don't have to spend a fortune on this stuff. You can walk out of that store, you know, with a $100 combo and come out here and catch everything that you see us catching today. So that's kind of the really short version of what you're looking for a rod that like specifically throw artificials. So I switched over to a Rip and Slash. Since the sun has come up, we have another small redfish. But as you can see, it is still slick, calm, and crystal clear skies. And we have seen a lot of fish, but a lot of them had no interest in messing with us. Been a little challenging. Good job, Casey. He swallowed it. Oh, got it. So that is a nice redfish, and we have seen a ton of fish today, but just haven't been able to get a lot of bites. The conditions are not exactly phenomenal. They're beautiful conditions. It's a lot of fun to fish out here when it's like this. But that is a very old gold rip and slash. That's caught a lot of fish. Doesn't even have any gills left in it. I put fresh hooks on it yesterday, but that's a beautiful redfish. So we've been seeing all these trout, and I haven't been able to hook many of them, but we swung back around on a group of fish that we saw earlier, and I got one. He probably really didn't want to eat it. That is kind of the beauty of treble hooks sometimes, is you can catch them even when they really don't want to be caught. Not really a great way to grab him, but yep, right there next to his eye. Caught him looking. Swing him right in the front. Perfect. Each have a redfish and a trout. It's a pretty good one. All right, so we just ran out here about 4 miles from where we were trout fishing, and we're gonna throw some lures at some grouper. And I've got the Mac Daddy of all low profile bait casters, which is a Shimano Tranx 400. And Casey's got a Shimano Twin Power 8000, and we're gonna throw some plugs around, see if we can get a bite. So we've hit like 9 or 10 spots, but that's kind of what you gotta do when you're, in the shallow water in here plug casting is, pull up to a spot, make 5 or 6 casts, jump over to the next one. And that's kind of, exactly what we're trying to do. We've actually hit 8 spots now. We've seen a bunch of fish. It's crazy how clear the water is, but I mean, you can see all the fish on the bottom sticking their heads out from under the ledges. Show you what we're looking at, some of the ledges, like you can see them right here on side scan. And then, you kind of see your down scan going down, but when you're idling up to one of these spots, you really don't want to go directly over top of it before you fish it. You want to kind of try to stay off of it and then fish it, and that really tends to work out best. Like, especially on a crystal clear, calm day like today, idling over top of a ledge is not a great answer. You're gonna make the fish kind of go up underneath the ledges. If you look right here, you can see this ledge. So like you can see the undercut where it goes underneath, and like that's exactly where a fish is gonna wanna sit, is right up underneath there. But I mean, that's what it looks like. It goes from about 8 feet down to 10 feet, and there's an undercut under there. And then down here on the side scan, you can see it. So that's kind of the short version of what we're looking for in here. Just little ledges, probably about this tall with a good undercut. The fish can get underneath there, and that's all it takes to hold 5, 6, 7, 8 grouper in the shallow water. So this morning was kind of a prime example of how some of the prettiest conditions can be very challenging to catch fish in. We saw so many fish. Casey and I probably saw at least 300 trout between 5 or 6 different rock piles, and the tide was just super stagnant. It barely moved. It kind of trickled in a little bit, and it's going back out, and it's not even going out quick. We ended up catching a couple of nice trout, a couple of nice reds, but it was not what I would say is kind of an awesome day. Really we needed a little bit of wind, and it was slick calm, but it was a beautiful morning out. We got to throw some different baits than we normally throw. I mean, normally when I'm charter fishing, I'm not throwing treble hook plugs, so it was kind of fun to throw some different stuff around. We saw a lot of grouper, but again, the tide wasn't really moving, and they really didn't want to do anything. We had several fish follow baits all the way up to the side of the boat and didn't eat, and Casey even threw a big paddle tail, and
you would twitch it and they would chase it, and you know, you'd let it fall and they wouldn't even eat it. And it's just kind of a frustrating morning, but we did get to catch a few nice fish, and Casey won the big fish with a nice redfish, so it was a perfect day. We're hoping as we get into these spring tides and the tides get a little more dramatic where they come in real high, you know, we'll get to do some different stuff and show you guys some fun fishing.